Hey there, welcome to another Friday night watch chat. I'm joined by Sam from Casual Watches. It's Sam, it's almost like, and I love it. I think, I feel like you're becoming a regular. I love it. I love it, man. I just love having all the different kinds of opinions and people on the channel. And one of
No.
these days, I'm going to make it to your stream. It's just like, the timing is just tough with the kids. But how you doing, man?
Yeah, great. No, thanks for having me on again. Yes, you're always welcome on my live stream. If people think that I'm that you're not, that you're always welcome on mine as well. So we just have to work out the time. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
thanks
yeah.
for again.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's usually just a timing thing. Because if and there's a lot of people on this chat who go on your streams. I know because they tell me about it. And you have guys from all over the world, right? I mean, you have Pete from New Zealand and a couple guys from the UK. So picking the right time, right? Is always tricky. Like somebody's going to be left in the dark, or left out,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what happens. But
yeah. We like to
um,
have it. I'll say that Pete's from Australia because otherwise he'll tell
oh,
me
that's
off in
right.
the
That's right.
chat.
That's right.
No, it's
That's right.
because
I'm not sure.
I was talking to your pre-show, wasn't I, about New Zealand? So you
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I had in my mind.
Yeah, and we'd like to have Dave from Just the Watch on a lot more often. He's come on a few times,
Oh
but
yeah,
he's literally 12 hours difference to us. He's in Japan, so
yeah, yeah. And I've had Pete on here several times, and it's worked out that he's like on a lunch break, and he comes on. So that's always great, and it's always good to have him. He's definitely sparked some conversation with the chat for sure. Anyway, look, guys. Oh, well, Sam, what are you wearing tonight on wrist?
I've dusted off the date just. I'm trying to work out. I'm going on vacation to Japan in a week. I can't work. I'm in a real bind about what watch do I take. I don't know. Have you ever had that? Like, what watch do you? Because I want to take one because
Yeah,
we're packing, but we might be going to the Seiko Museum. So do I take
yeah, yeah, yeah.
my Seiko
Yeah.
GMT or do I take my speed time, my
Oh yeah.
vintage speed
Hey,
time, or do I take my date just?
that's guys in the chat. Please chime in to help Sam out. For me, more times than not, right? Um, I just take a G Shock. They're just reliable. It's light. It's if I lose it, I lose it. I A few months ago went to Puerto Rico, and I did bring I had at the time a Seiko LX from the LX line, their GMT, the blackout version, and that was great too. But I also brought another Seiko with me, and but typically I always bring a G Shock, and that's what I roll with, because jump in a pool or being a crowded city. There's some pickpocketers. Hey, Dib. Speaking of pickpocketers, there's Dib right there, and so like I have it's just no fuss. I don't have to worry about it. But you're going to Japan. I mean, you go into the source. You gotta. I feel
Yeah,
like you have to represent some Seiko.
yeah. I might take the Quartz GMT as well. So I might do that one. Yeah, because if I go to the Seiko Museum and I'm rocking up with it, I need to
Yeah.
represent.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Dib, what's going on? Hey, Dib, I just switched the me and Sam for you, so I just just to keep you on your toes. What's going on, Dib? How you doing this evening?
Doing good. Wearing
Yeah.
my Ming
Oh, you love that
and
watch, huh?
yeah, and my special watch,
Ooh.
like Miss Wonderful watch. If you know
Wait,
what it is.
I
You if
can't.
you know,
Oh, the
like
Invicta. Yeah,
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 yeah, like
yeah.
sexy.
That's the one that Wolfie got you, and
Oh yeah,
in Las Vegas, returning the favor when you bought him
Oh
the
yeah.
John Mayer.
I'm gonna go to the RM boutique with him wearing this watch. So,
No,
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
for
just
sure.
stepped in.
wonderfuling it up.
Yeah. Well, I got my Gerard Perregaux Seahawk on, my first luxury watch purchase that I ever made. Back in 2005. So it's been with me ever since. It's the longest watch in my longest serving watch in my collection. And which is actually saying a lot, because there's really only I'm down to 3 watches, right? 3 luxury mechanical watches. Everything else is digital or quartz, right? So yeah, actually the sub will be almost 2 years in January, and Pam I bought 2 years after this. So, man, that's it's a weird place to be, just down to 3 watches, but hopefully I could slowly change that. Hey, before we say hello to the chat, this evening I will be giving away to someone in the stream, lucky watcher, a Timex Ironman that just came in from a great friend who every once in a while donates some watches for me to give away, and I'm very much appreciative of that. So what we're going to do is, when there's about 10 minutes left on the show, I'm going to put out a kind of like a question, and the first person to answer it in the chat is going to get the watch, and then we'll take it from there. But let's say hello to chat before we get into some new releases or whatever topics. Hey, Thomas is here. How you doing, Thomas? What's going on? He says Boris should win it. All right, well, Boris is sticking around to the end. FP Wilson, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, Rob from Mountain Standard Time. It's been 3 weeks without a watch purchase. Wow, that's good, man. It's good. Keep it strong.
You need a token.
Yeah, exactly. Watch buying anonymous, right? 3 weeks. It's almost been a year. Okay, see, Scott's got all right. Well, let's see here. I think Scott, although it's been a year for you, I think there probably is somebody on the chat. I think I know who's got you beat. James is here. Greetings. How you doing, James? Mr. Time Hill, what is up? Mez9 is here. Todd S is here. Hi, Todd. Hey, if you guys have any questions for us, the group here, and just ask away. Did I write booby legs? I did write booby legs. Oh boy. Let's see if I could change that on the fly. I don't want the wrong kind of people coming here, or do I? Do I not want them? Maybe we do. Maybe we do want them. Let's change them. Thank you for telling me, Rob. Wayben is here. Greetings. Yeah, it's been a while, Wayben. Good to see you. Mr. Casio is here. Steve, Sean. What's up, Sean? Good to see you. Hey, Lyndon made it. We can start now. Absolutely. Greetings, Caliber. What's going on? Erman here. How to enter, guys? Well, like I said, Erman, just stick around, and I'm going to put out a question at the end, and we'll see. The first person to answer will win. Man, Timex Ironman was my first watch in the early 90s. It was yeah. So a lot of not my first watch, but one of my first watches for sure was a Timex Ironman. Did you ever own one of these? No,
that was my exact one that I had, the black and silver. So
very nice. Maybe if you answer it, Sam, answer the question.
Well, it might be my Lamborghini Countach, though. It might be that it's not. It might not live up to my. I put it on a pedestal mentally.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you. Bobby has mood lighting coming off the Easy Bake Oven. Yeah, in the back of the room for sure. This is the same setup I have for work. So like a lot of people at work usually see what I'm going on, but I've gone to blurring the background now. Hey, Big Riss is here. Justin R is strapped in. Peter Campbell, what's going on? How you doing? Big Riss is wearing his Casio Duro on the beads of rice. Darren is saying, which speed timer, vintage or modern? I guess Darren might be
both, actually. Yeah, both.
Oh,
I've got both the vintage, the 6139, and then the new one, the SSC 911.
Jim wearing the Ming 37.07 on wrist. What's the reference number on yours?
Same one.
Okay, this is the same one. Okay. Lyndon, I'm with Bobby on this one. G-Shock is the only watch to travel with. No worries. It handles everything from pull to a robbery. Hey, Dib, when you travel, what do you usually take with you? I feel like you take like 3 or 4 watches with you.
Depends on where I'm going. So I usually take at best 3, but right now I just take 2 watches if I can.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends. I mean, like if I know that I'm going.
If you're going back home, what do you take?
If I'm going back home, I'll take like 4 or 5 watches. That's a different matter. But if I'm going on a trip, it's usually 1 or 2 watches at best. For example, I went to the Grand Canyon like 2 months ago. I took the Formex Malachite Essence and the SLGH03. So,
Mm,
just rotating out of two watches at best. It's
hmm.
it's simple. Like I prefer to take just one, but sometimes,
Yeah, sometimes you want to switch it up. I get that.
yeah.
I get that. Waven, he brought 4 watches to Puerto Rico because he's crazy. Yeah, you are. Um, Bobby here, he's wearing the Seiko Snoopy on wrist. Thomas is wearing his Panerai 352. Um, Panda Speedy for Joy Beat tonight. Hey, Bilal, what's going on? Good to see you. James Duffy wearing the vintage Omega Geneve tonight. Not sure why. Why not though? Why not? Hey, Canadian Watch Monkey, what is up? How you doing? Sympathy for the devil, for the bezel. I always say for bezel, for that Rolling Stone song. Spoke with Orlando Watch Company in Sam's neck of the woods today, picking up a slim turtle when I sling the kids to Disney next month. Did says that model's better than the Citizen Barnacle Diver.
Yeah, I know them well. The Orlando Watch Company. I know Nick there quite well. I bought her Omega, a couple of Seikos from them as well. They're a good bunch of guys.
Cool. KR Joy is here. How you doing, KR? Big Risk down to 48 watches. Is that right? Hey, Cabby Lake is here. How you doing, Cabby? Bilal has Timex Expedition. Canadian Watch says, I am the Ironman. Hey there, Martin. What's going on? Good to see you. Anish, what's going on? Good to see you. Big Risk. It's been 2 weeks for me. Okay, so since you bought a watch, Corey Davison, what's going on? How are you? Got a lot of new faces in the chat today, so it's good to see you guys here. Erman is here. What's going on? Phelon, what's going on? How you doing? Pale Horse is here. Scott Tallow, do you think it's safer to wear a Calatrava or Explorer when traveling? Interesting. Well, I mean, I feel like, an Explorer, I mean, albeit it's a Rolex, right? Kind of is, could fly under the radar if, that's using that kind of terminology. Calatrava, I mean, if it's a yellow gold Calatrava, maybe sticks out a little bit more. I try not to, I probably wouldn't take a dress watch with me if I'm just like doing regular kind of traveling and, like going to a city for a first time and exploring that city. Unless I have a purpose to wear a dress watch, I wouldn't bring a dress watch with me. What do you guys think? What do you think, Sam? Safer to wear a Calatrava or Explorer when traveling?
Well, the Explorer is just I gravitate towards it because it is the traveler's watch, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't have any dress watches. I like tour watches, so I would go with the Explorer if it was me. But
yeah, Sam. I mean, Dib.
I could go with either, to be honest. It also depends. Like, if I have to wear a Calatrava, I'm not taking to a hot place. Like
Okay.
the leather's gonna get ruined. So
Yeah.
again, if I'm going to a cooler place, definitely a color. I really don't care about the watches. I
Uh-huh.
treat all my watches the same way. Like probably this is the closest I have to a
Yeah.
dressy piece,
Yeah.
but this one's 100-meter water resistant. So
Hmm.
like just change it out, put a rubber strap on it from the gator
Nice.
that I have it on.
Canadian Watch Monkey Nomos Club 38 for him tonight. Darnell, I feel like a sellout. I was gifted a smartwatch, and 6 months later, it's all I wear. Seiko was my favorite. That is interesting. So Darren has gone to the dark side. Teacher help. Dib, I mean, I think you may have talked about this the other day, but quickly, thoughts on the new Daytona?
Love it.
Love it?
Just if I could afford it, or if I was a VVIP,
Yeah.
I'd get it. Like I like the Daytona.
Mhm.
It's always been one of those watches which I've always wanted, but this one just put the want level to a different level. It's insane. Like for me, I don't know. It like I never go gaga about any Rolex watch once it's released. It's a mainstay. It's good. solid, dependable, but that's what I really wanted.
Yeah.
And then I saw the price, and
Yeah.
it's like price plus availability. There's no way.
Yeah. Sam, any thoughts for you on the new
Yeah,
Daytona?
same as Dave. But they only tweaked the design a little bit, didn't they? I mean, I think it's in precious metal, isn't it? It looks gorgeous. It looks one at the ceramic, the two ceramic Daytonas. There's only a couple of watches that I've ever reviewed on the channel where I've got them and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. One was the Grey Side of the Moon Omega. The other was an AP Royal Oak Rose Gold, and then the Daytona, the ceramic Daytonas, the ceramic bezel Daytonas. There's just something about those Daytonas. They are awesome.
Yeah.
So I think the new one looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think the new one looks fantastic. I think also that part of it that's attractive is that that I'll never get one. I'll never see one. You know what I mean? So that of course adds to it. Yeah, I mean, like, that's like, you have to be like a rock star or a sultan of Bahrain to get one of these. Anyway, James Duffy, he travels 7 to 10 days at a time for work, and he brings 5+ watches. Oh, very nice. Hey Kelly, how you doing? What's going on? If Dib got the Le Mans Daytona 24 hours race start for the flip. Yeah. Well, I mean, right? I mean, yeah, right, Dib? I mean, I think most of us would be so tempted. Most of us mere mortals, right?
Yeah.
If we got this, would be tempted to
Realistically, yeah, I mean, like, I get the text from an AD, and I'm like, all right, like, what's the market value? Is it like 200 grand? Why not? So sell it off, buy a Daytona on the gray market again, 30 grand. You're left with how much? Like another 100 easy. Buy an M3, done.
Yeah.
And put like 4 grand for good tires.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Phelon was like, recently started getting into watches. What's a good everyday budget watch? Great question. Sam, anything comes to mind with budget
Yeah,
watches?
I mean, well, it depends what you want, isn't it? I mean, anything by Citizen, the Hamilton Khaki is a fan favorite, isn't it? Anything by Christopher Ward, if you can stretch a little bit. Seiko. I mean, I prefer quartz in the less than $700 range. Seiko quartz is awesome. It depends what you like, really. It's a good question, isn't it? Casio does some great stuff as well.
Yeah. Dib, any thoughts?
I mean, there's so many options, right? It's essentially, what do you want from the watch? What do you want to do with it? And how much money you want to spend? Because you can easily segregate watches based on, all right, $300, $400, $500. Like, you can go up in $100 increments and you still get different watches. So I mean, for me, it's very simple. I usually go Seiko. Like, there's a lot, and good prices too. You don't have to pay full price for a Seiko. Don't do that. Like, people do that when they're starting out. There's plenty of discounts to be had. Citizen, plenty of micro brands if you want to look at them. There's a whole lot. I mean, below $1,000, I mean, you have a full buffet. Not the best buffet, but you'll be full. But you might have some stomachache later.
Man, if it was like 3 or 4 years ago, like, for me, hands down, no brainer would have been the Seiko Sarb 033, right? Like around 350, 400 max. When you could get that watch. I mean, now that it's been discontinued for a few years, like, it's like double that easily. But for that price, that watch did a lot, man. It had a pretty good movement for that price. Just looked classically good. On the bracelet, wore very sporty. You could dress it up with a strap. That would hands down would have been my choice a few years ago. But now, like I said, it's been discontinued, so the price is a little bit much. So, but now, I mean, to Sam and Dib's point, there's so many options. You really could do pretty well here, between 300 escalated to 400, like Dib said, or 500, whatever price range you want. If you want something a little bit tougher, you go for a diver that has some water resistance. I mean, Seiko just covers. Seiko and Citizen just has such a huge catalog that it's almost like you can't do any wrong.
And if
Especially
you
if
want
you're looking.
something, I don't know where you're based, but if you're based in the US and you want a US assembled watch, the guys over at Veya just released their solar quartz for less than, I think it's 250 or something. That's VAER, Veya watches.
Yeah.
Have them assembled in Chicago. They're a US based company.
Hey Christopher, how you doing? Good to see you. Will Zenith Chronosport scratch the itch if you can't afford a Rolex Daytona? Dib.
No, it won't. Just forget about the Zenith. It's a dud brand. Just put your money at your AD, buy the Daytona. If you have that question in your head, is it going to scratch the itch? I don't think you already know the answer to that. If you started with, I want the Chronomaster Sport, it's a great watch, you should get it. But if you start comparing the two watches, just get the Daytona. That's what you want, and you're supplementing it with something else. And
Well,
and
I
in
think
his
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead, Bobby.
No, but I mean, I think I think the most important part here is like if you can't wait, right? I mean, the Daytona at retail is fairly reasonable, right? I mean, yeah, it's probably like around 14 or 15,000, right? I mean, I know that's a lot of money, but like compared to what is in the secondary market, so he's not gonna be able to get it in the secondary. The
But
question
I
is, can
mean,
you wait? And if you're
but
gonna, if it's a question of waiting, like something like something that's similar looking, it's not gonna scratch the itch because you're always going to be thinking about the Daytona, right? Especially if it looks kind of similar.
I
I
mean,
think that
honestly, I look at this way. All right, I'm leaving aside the fact that those watches tank on the secondary, but it's $11,000 watch. If I can spend 11 grand on a watch, forget about discounts. Just MSRP to MSRP. If I can spend 11, I can spend 15. Just save a little bit up, maybe
yeah,
a
yeah.
year and a half. Plus, you'll be
No,
doing a lot of saving anyway. You're not getting a Daytona without a serious.
yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one, Dib. I think the second part of that is like the impossible part, right? Like he's not going to get it in a year or two, right? It's going to take years upon years. I mean, okay, maybe not years upon years, but it's going to definitely take at least a few years. Now he's talking about scratching an immediate itch, right? It sounds like, and so yeah, the price point is at MSRP is not that much different. It's just can he wait? And I think getting a watch that looks similar to Daytona to scratch an inch while you wait is not the way to go anyway. Because you're always going to be thinking that, hey, I want the Daytona. And especially if you buy the Chronomaster new, you're going to take a hit when you sell it in the secondary.
Because they used to not have any reduction, did they, on the secondhand market? The Chronosports used to be hard to buy secondhand because you were paying almost MSRP, but as the supply chain freed up on them.
No, Zenith had its like 5 month moment
Yeah.
under the sun,
Yep.
where everything they sold in 2021, it was at MSRP or maybe got a little above. But after that, they're back to dud brand status, not dead, dud.
Yeah.
I'm referring to Canadian Watch Monkeys statement.
Yeah.
It's in line with any of the depreciating brands that's out there.
Yeah, I mean, you could get a Chronomaster for like 7,500 now. Like, I mean, I've seen them that low.
I've seen
Oh,
for
really?
65.
Wow.
Yes, I've seen it for 65.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you could get one at 6,500, then that's a lot of watch for the money, and you can do some like mental gymnastics, can't you? Because you can say, well, the El Primero was used in the Daytona, so you could kind of make a mental. Plus, it's got the date on it, which the Daytona doesn't have, and I'm a big fan of the date. So you could do some mental gymnastics for it. If you could get it for 6,500, I've seen them in person, and that's a lot of watch for the money. Or even 7,000.
Yeah. I don't see Dib being a Daytona person to begin with.
It'll happen in a year and a half, probably. But I feel, personally, for me, the new 1/10 of a chronograph movement, that's a waste. I loved the old El Primero 400 movement, 400 series movement.
Yeah.
Because it's a fully integrated and all. You can actually measure hours. I don't want a chronograph which only measures to 60 minutes.
Right.
So that, for that reason, I don't want a single Zenith, not a single Zenith watch that is in their current catalog. I'm interested. I look at it. Okay, fine, all right, moving on. That's me with Zenith right now.
Yeah, you've soured on Zenith, but that's okay. I have a feeling one day you might turn that smile frown upside down.
I'm happy to buy a Zenith with the older El Primero 400 movement, but I
Yeah.
won't buy anything new. That just doesn't have, like the thing that I'm looking for in a chronograph. It's useless to me.
Scott said he'll sell that Le Mans Daytona and buy a house on the beach. Bambino is a good suggestion. Yeah, that's a good suggestion for a daily watch, a very affordable daily. Let's see here. Casio, if your uncle died and left you a yellow gold Daytona on Oysterflex, something that won't sell for massive profit, keep it or flip it?
How close are you to uncle? That's the question.
For Dib.
Sorry, what's that? I spaced out.
No problem. So Steve was asking you, if your uncle died and left you a yellow gold Daytona on Oysterflex, something that won't sell for a massive profit, keep it or flip it?
I mean, if somebody leaves me something, there's no way I'm selling it. It doesn't matter if it costs $2 million. It's a sentimental gift. I mean, if anybody gives me anything, I never throw them away or sell them. It's part of my life now, whether I like it or not. Like a little Casio that my dad gave me. It's still there at my home in India.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lower tier Swatch Group automatic. I'm sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was going to say the three most important watches in my collections are ones I inherited from. And one's
okay.
a Casio.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, if let's say my sister gave me an Emporio Armani watch, I'm still gonna wear it. It's sentiment, it's emotion. Whether I like the watch or not doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, I did sell a watch that my mum gave me, but that's another story.
I think we have hit on a new segment in the streams, a Dib centered segment. Keep it or flip it. I think we might have to do that in the future. Lower tier Swatch Group automatics make good starter watches. I can't disagree, James. That's a good suggestion. Big Risk saying Citizen Sayosa, Casio Duro, Tissot PRX. Also some good affordable everyday watches.
It's the size on the Juro, isn't it? That a lot of people, because it's a great watch, but it is big, isn't it? The Juro. That's the only thing.
Real watch lovers wear a watch on both wrists and ankles. Okay. Let's go down here. Regardless of the watch, start with a gray market because there will be a lot more options at any budget. Very, very true. Okay, so let's take a break from the chat here for a little bit, and let's take a look at some new releases. A couple things. Dib, I know we talked about the Zulu Spirit Time and how you felt about it. You love it. We talked about that on Tuesday. Sam, what are your thoughts? I'm going to bring it up here on that. What are your thoughts on the new Zulu, the new size on the Zulu Time?
Yeah, I actually like it. I haven't actually ever reviewed a Longines on the channel, but my future brother-in-law, he bought a Legend Diver from Canada and had it delivered to me, and it arrived yesterday. Though, have you seen the boxes on those things? The wooden boxes on that Legend Diver?
Yeah.
I've reviewed Panerais with wooden boxes, and they're less well finished than the one that comes with the Legend Diver. Wow, it was insane. So it really actually made me warm towards the value for money that you're getting with Longines. I'd never really. Never really thought that before. But I think the only thing with this Zulu Time, which, because I'm a big fan of the date, is I'd be waiting every month for the 6th, because then it would just make the 6th of the month, because then it would balance out the dial.
Right.
But no, I really like it. And like I said, I've seen this Legend Diver in person and having a proper play with it, even though I'm not crazy about the hour hand, and I might make a comment in the review about that. But yeah, I think this will be a great watch. And they are this smaller size. It's still Longines are still gonna wear big, so that's not gonna be small even at 39. So I think that'll be a good size.
Yeah,
beautiful color as well.
I'm a big fan. Again, even though I'm saying I'm a big fan, I don't think this watch will have space in my collection because I have a GMT Peacock, the Grand Seiko. I have the Pepsi coming in, and I don't need a third GMT. I'm glad it exists because it does give me an option to pick this up later on, maybe in a few years. I don't think this is going away anytime soon because
Hmm.
it's gonna be a huge hit. Like great specs, great price. What's not to like about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are like one and done watches, aren't they, for a lot of people, Longines?
Oh
Because I
yeah.
don't know a lot of collectors that have them, or if they do, they don't have multiples of them. But I know certain parts of the world, aren't there, that Longines is like it's the one and done watch, isn't it? So
Yep, yep. Lyndon saying, slightly off topic here. I'm contemplating selling everything: Oris, Tudor, Damasco, Seiko LX, and just getting an Alpinist. One do-it-all watch. Change my mind. Hell, if you want to do that, man, go for it.
All I'll say is the Alpinist. I've owned at least 10, maybe more. I don't remember. The movement, the 6R35 movement, long term viability. I don't know if it'll, like you selling a Seiko LX and going back down to an Alpinist. I don't think it would be a good move. Personally, that's what I would do. I'd sell the Oris, I'd sell the Tudor, I'd sell the Damasco, I'd keep the Seiko LX. Like honestly, the SLA 043, that's part of the Seiko LX line, I think. It's ruined the other Seiko divers for me because I don't want to go back to a cheap diver. And
Hmm.
for me, the cheap diver would be $800 to $1,200. So
Yeah.
that's what I would do. The Alpinist is a great watch, but the movement is a bit iffy, like especially if you want to keep it long term. But at the end of the day, it's still a very it's a cheap product. Well, relatively cheap. I don't want to insult you or anything. It's a great product. I've had plenty, but for the one watch, I'd probably do the Damasco or the Seiko. That would be me.
Hey, this is something you would like to hear, Dib. Scott's saying just buy, instead of the Daytona, buy the Square Bang Unico.
See, I'm doing a
No,
Wolfie wag. No,
no,
I,
no.
I, I like my Hublots, but Um, a Daytona is a Daytona. I've seen it
Yeah,
in person multiple times because many friends own it, and the want is real.
yeah.
It,
Dib
it's a
says,
it's a great watch. I mean, how many chronographs do you find under 20 grand, which is that thin? Tell me that.
hmm, yeah. Pete saying he'd flip every Rolex that came to him.
Yeah, I know. I'd snitch on him probably.
Thomas is saying, I think that the new small sizing on the Zulu GMT is just following a trend of downsizing a bit, like Tudor downsizing the Black Bays. They need to make their mind up what size they want before they release. Longines gets a lot of play in Asia because they have a large stable of hot models and actors for the brand ambassadors. And maybe that's also that, you know, I'm making a generalization here, whether I'm wrong or right. Maybe you guys can correct me, but I think that's probably explains why some of the sizing is getting a little bit smaller because Asia is such a large market for them. I think they favor smaller watches, so maybe that makes sense. Maybe that's part of the logic.
I think it's also the fact that even though their watches can be 40 mil or 41, their lugs are spaced like a 43 or a 44.
Hmm.
So I think that definitely plays a part. And Longines is big in Asia.
Yeah.
So obviously, like the good thing is the brand is listening to market feedback, what people want, and they're building the products. Best scenario.
Hey, let's talk about these Citizen Series 8 GMTs. I'm a big fan of Citizen. I gotta admit this. I think when I was talking to Chaz today about this, he said it feels like Citizen is going for or turning into a little bit like a micro brand here with some of the stylings here. Um, now, uh, Sam, what do you think? I think you said you discussed this with your group recently.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
Well, yeah, it's a mashup of various different watches, isn't it? I've named the gold one the cheeky root beer, so
Yeah.
hopefully that'll catch on. You heard it here first. But I quite like that cheeky root beer. There's something about it that I like. I actually was a little bit disappointed they made it mechanical. You know, I was kind of like, oh, because I
Mm,
think if they put a. I mean, I know they couldn't have got the dial finishes. I'm guessing on an eco drive, but I don't mind it. It's like a it looks like fan fiction though, doesn't it? It looks like somebody's taken a composite of different watches that they like. You know, like that time Moser, was it Moser that did it, and they mashed together a couple of watches. It looks almost like a fan fiction piece where somebody's picked everything they like from different watch brands and then put it all together. But I don't know. There's something about it. I like them. The only thing is, I wish they'd put an eco drive in it or had an eco drive model, because they're like $2,000 or something, I think.
I think that's the problem for me. I mean, I know it's a Series 8, and I know, like, those watches that run a little bit on the pricier side from what we're used to here in the States for Seiko. And and I don't think it bothers me, or the fact that it's automatic. I think that's okay. I'm fine with that. I mean, but there's something about this that is not really sitting well with me. I haven't really pinned it to what it is. Maybe it's the integrated case and bracelet with the combination of the colored bezel here, the different color, the Pepsi, the Batman, and the root beer.
Mhm.
So, like, and maybe there's too much going on with the actual dial itself. I don't know. There's still, it's just a little over the top for me. Having said that, I would love to see one in person, because I have a feeling that I may feel differently. Dib, what do you think about these?
I think it's too busy. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
Mm,
half the world is doing Pepsi and Batman bezel, so can't really fault Citizen for doing it. It's still their own design, but I feel with the texture on the dial,
yeah.
there's so much going on with this watch. I just can't figure out where should I place it. Like it's in line with what the MSRP is for the Series 8. I think the 300 Series 8s are like $1,000, 995, around that price point. So definitely in line, like you add a complication, you bump it up a few hundred
Mm,
dollars.
mm,
It makes
mm,
sense from their side. It's just I see the Hotaka pattern on this dial, like especially for the Pepsi and the Batman Citizen. Then you look at the gold one, the cheeky root beer, and you see the part Shunbun, part Kirazuri dial. Yeah,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
much going on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think seeing it in person will be. I'll see if I can get one, because Citizen have been quite good to me this year, lending me watches. So I'll see if I can get one.
And
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sure Citizen directly is gonna do a 25% off sale in like 5 months. So you're gonna get it.
yeah. I mean, this is one of these kind of watches that, like, an impulse move. I may just, when they become available, just have to give it a try, and the luck, because uh, when something strikes at me so, like, off-putting as this kind of does. This kind, I mean, I kind of like it, but it's off-putting. It's just like, it usually means eventually I end up really liking it. Like, that's what happens with me. I know myself at this point when it comes to some of these designs. So, um, I think I hate it, but I think I love it. Pete Zane, George Kern has explicitly said that reducing sizes is linked to trying to sell into Asia.
Yeah,
Um,
because a 60% of the Breitlinks are massive. Like how many?
yeah, yeah.
Like 44, 45. Like who wants to wear a giant? Like might as well wear an Invicta.
Yeah, and the benefit of that, especially when buying from Japan, is that you'll see a lot of these bigger models for sale, because I think maybe people just try to figure if they could try them out, and they end up being too big for their taste, and you can get some really good deals, especially on Bai, which is a great site. I know Dib shops there a lot, or at least uses that as a reference of pricing when
I
he's
mean,
looking at
I
watches.
think in general, if you filter out even on Chrono 24, you don't have to use buy because buy has some certain buy restrictions that are in
Hmm.
place. You can't buy above 5 or 6 grand or with 3 grand, depending on how young your account is. I was just talking to Chaz, you guys earlier in the afternoon. I found a Vacheron Constantin Overseas dual time, silver dial, full kit for $22,000 and change. Retail on that is 27,000
Hmm.
plus tax because you'll obviously have to get it from a boutique. So 8 grand cheaper, like, and again, you're protected by Chrono 24's escrow account, or you use like some robust credit card company like Amex. It's I have not seen that price even in the dealer groups. Maybe once, but 22 grand for the dual time overseas, it's just insane.
Hmm.
And now that makes me happy because Vashon is going back to a dud brand too. Like because I know so many people locally who have been playing the games that Patek and AP has been doing. Like you need to buy a 1921 historique to get a three-hander overseas, or like get the chronograph. I'm so freaking happy. I'm really happy that like it's dying down, because so that people can come off their high horses, like 100%.
All
Let
right,
it
fair
burn,
enough.
let it burn.
Fair enough, man. You'd like to set the match and let it burn. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Rob is saying Grand Seiko, Rolex, and Tissot had a baby.
Yeah, but I
Um,
think that's a good way to put it.
hey, Von Krul is giving you some props here, Sam. He said that he's eyeing the Citizen Tessa that you reviewed on your channel recently.
Yeah,
Those are
great
fun
notes.
watches.
Mhm. That
Um,
new one with the deep sea dial that they've done, Citizen, it looks amazing. That one,
mhm.
they've done an Attessa version of that as well. That I'm sure that dial is going to be absolutely stunning in real life.
See,
Yeah,
this is where I do have to commend Citizen for pushing the boundaries for cheaper watches, which Seiko doesn't do anymore. Seiko makes dependable, reliable watches, but if you want something funky, sometimes your heart wants something funky. You go to
yeah,
Citizen. Like
yeah,
they,
yeah, yeah.
they experiment a lot because like their Eco Drive module must be very scalable. So like it's easy to put parts on, build a new complication out of it. It's I think they are such a good value that even me included, I don't give a lot of attention to Citizen because I have reached a point where I don't want to keep a lot of cheap watches, but incredible value. Like
Yeah,
even
but I think part of it too, Dib. I think is the perception of Citizen here in the States, because we don't get the best citizens here in America, right? You have to like go and I have to go on eBay and look for Japanese sellers who are selling the citizens that I can't get here. So I mean, I think Citizen like Seiko climb do they climb the luxury scale a little bit, and it's enough for like most of us that to live in. I mean, Seiko and Citizen and creating or developing collections with those two brands may satisfy a whole lot of people out there.
I put that Attessa in the private chat. That one, the sea dial, the sort of deep sea, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, from the okay, you got it on the Sakura. Let's see here. Let me
I just
see.
think this is a beautiful looking. Yeah.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that looks awesome.
that's fun.
great,
Hey,
great watches, great
yeah,
watches.
and by the way, if anybody is looking for like Citizens or Seiko, try this Sakura site out because they really they convert to US and and yen and it's been favorable. It's been very, very favorable for if you're in the United States lately. Well, actually, for the last like year or so,
Yeah.
to buy from this directly from Japan because the prices you'll get far less.
And it comes super quick as well.
It's super quick, exactly. Um, Dib is a medium horse guy. He's a man for the people. Okay, all right, sure. A Seiko collector buying Citizen is getting a bit strange. Nothing wrong with that, Justin R says. Okay, hey, listen, guys. Let's do something real quick here. I want to do this giveaway if you guys don't mind. And thank you for being good sports and everybody hanging in. So I mean, I'm giving away this watch. I think I'm going to be doing a little bit more. I'm going to be doing more giveaways and live streams because I have a lot of watches here that are earmarked for giveaways, and I just want to start giving them away, right? Because Mrs. Legs gave me an ultimatum. She's like, you got to clear some space out. Okay, I'm going to clear some space out. You got it. So here it is, the Ironman, Timex Ironman, a classic digital watch. Many of us have owned it, when we were kids in the 80s and 90s, and it's stand the test of time. Donated by a great friend and supporter of the channel. And so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna basically ask a question, and the first person to answer it in the chat wins it. Now, if you win this watch, you're gonna have to email me, and my email address is located in the description below. It's bobbylegs1791 at Gmail. Now, the 1791 is not a random number that Google generated for me, and it's not like my birth year, because that's 1791. But why is 1791, or that year 1791, so significant in the watch community, watch lore, and for me? Why is it so significant for me as a collector? Anyway, first person who puts the comment in the description, not in the description, but in the chat, will win. And hopefully you guys will get it. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to scramble and get another question for you guys. So anyway, what Sam, what do you got going on? I mean, like you're going away, but do you have anything else going on that we can expect to see?
Yeah, so I'm going to review that Legend Diver. I've got Vero sent me a watch as well, which I was really impressed with. I think we spoke about the brand, didn't we? And then I've got a review. I'm going to do the review of that, what I call the Ugly Citizen, the Citizen Diver with the depth gauge on there as well. So a couple of 3 reviews I've got to knock out on Sunday, and then hopefully they'll be uploaded over the week. And then we've got our live stream at 4:30 Eastern tomorrow, Sunday.
Sunday, excellent. On a little Father's Day stream,
yes.
Huh? Yeah. Okay, very nice. Hey, JJM, you got it. I mean, 1791 is when Gerard Perregaux was allegedly or supposedly founded. It's one of the oldest watchmakers out there, and I own a Gerard Perregaux Seahawk 2. So, JJM, my email address is located in the description. Please shoot me an email. We'll do our best to verify you that you are the actual JJM, and we'll send off congratulations on winning the Timex Ironman. Awesome, good stuff. And a lot of you guys some of you guys got it, but JJM looks like he beat you to it. Excellent. Tib, what do you got going on, man? I mean, have you made any? Yeah. Have you made any?
It was one of those scheduled purchases which appeared out of nowhere, but I have to put it in the scheduled category.
Hold on 1 second, Sam. So you've been in a couple streams with Deb now. So he's made this allegation that he is like quite quitting the hobby, that he's given up, and so like, but the problem is like he keeps on buying watches. And so he uses like these excuses like, oh well, it was
they're not excuses, they are it's like chapters in the Constitution. Like it's how I look at watch collecting, how I would like to have those watches. I know it's all a bunch of BS at the end of the night, but it's to make myself feel better, I guess. But I got a golden tuna today from the Toppers drop. It was
a great
watch.
Price.
That was, I think, the which sealed the deal for me, just because they were like $400 cheaper than anything that I could find on Buy, and like I don't have to deal with import duties or it coming from Japan. Not that like they're actually very fast. Probably if I bought from Japan, it would be here before Toppers did. But
right,
like Toppers is an 80, and the thing is, all these watches are old, so many of them are due for a battery replacement. Like all the quartz tuners, it's usually when you send it into the service center, they put a dot in that, like, there's a scale in the back, like that way you know when your watch was made. So I'm banking on the fact that the watch dies in the next year or so, and I can send it back to Seiko for a free service. Thanks to toppers. So
Yeah.
it was unscheduled, but it shifted into the scheduled category because I've been wanting a tuna for a while.
Yeah.
I looked at, and there's a tuna which I really wanted, but it's a Gundam tuna. So there's an anime called Mobile Suit Gundam, big thing in the Japan market. And Seiko did a collaboration for the Emperor tuna. So a green one and a red one. They look
So that's
absolutely insane.
another scheduled, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately,
Coming.
I wasn't willing to spend like $2,500. And this tuna is also excellent. It's a reissue 40th anniversary of the
Mm,
1978 gold tuna.
Hmm.
mm.
So yeah, I had to get it. So Tuesday it'll be in.
Sam, is there any more like pathetic, person than someone who's a watch collector who says, "I'm out," and then continues to buy watches, making
Like a relapse.
excuses. Yeah.
Sam,
Like this is
it's not a relapse. It's not a relapse. It's called slowly and steadily weaning
It's
yourself
like
off
weaning yourself up.
watches.
Yeah, you're not going cold
you-
turkey. You kind of, yeah. You're
Yeah,
like on the vapes instead of the cigarettes. You
Yeah.
kind of-
exactly.
and then it'll be the nicotine gum, and then you'll slowly.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Sam. I don't know what to make of it. But anyway, well, like when he made that declaration like about a month or two ago, I was sad at first. I was like, oh man, like I enjoy like hanging out with him and talking with him. Does that mean that he's going to leave the community? Sure enough, he's like even more involved now and just more like in tune with what's going on and what's coming out and what can he buy and how can he twist it into his narrative of scheduled purchases and whatnot.
Let me put it this way. I've always said
Mm,
Seikos don't count. Sam, I bought enough Seikos to eclipse both you and Bobby combined.
Oh,
I
probably.
think my Seiko count is over 200 at this point
yeah, yeah.
over the last 4 years. So it's just that they keep coming and they keep going. But hopefully, um, there was a recent development with the watch that I was looking at. Um, Probably it won't work out, so this tuna takes the place.
Right.
Yeah, I've sold a bunch this week. I've had a complete clear out of the collection. I've probably sold 6 or 7 watches over the last week or so, or to 2 weeks.
So is that just in just thinning the herd in preparation of ramping it up again, Sam, or is yeah something in mind?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had some that was a few that I was sent in for review, but then there was a lot that I'd also had, just on hand. And the thing is, I'm like weird when I get a new watch. I'm like, that's all I wear for forever. So I've been wearing that G-Shock and then this GMT. But yeah, there's a lot now that I don't know. There is a couple of things that I've got my eye on, but I keep flirting with that. I want one of those Mont Blanc, the 1858s, the Ice Divers. I
Okay.
love that green one.
Solid watch. It's a big watch. It's 43, but it's a solid watch. Cell-liter movement.
Yeah.
I think they have a micro adjust clasp too. So I think I can remember.
I was really taken by it. But yeah, I mean, when I'm on, I'll take plenty of footage when I'm away. So something might tickle my fancy at this.
Oh yeah, you got to come. You got to come back. Yeah,
Sam,
you got to come back with a
Seiko. I think you're going to Japan. I think you should buy a very Japanese Grand Seiko or a Seiko or Citizen. There was one. I think it was called SBGH 317. It was released a month ago, I think. Waco Ginza limited release, 500 pieces. So they might still have that floating around. If I think it's the one 317, but it's in +9 times Instagram page.
Okay.
If I'm reading the serial numbers wrong, because it's hard. Like I'm growing old. Can't remember all of them.
Dude, you're 32. What do you mean
Yeah,
you're growing
that's
old?
old. Sorry, SBGH 315. My bad.
Okay.
I'll bring it up. SB GH315.
I think I don't know your budget, but if I were going to Japan, I'd probably sell one watch and get this. It's 500 pieces, so 100% not sold out. Yeah, it's one of the Ginza patterns. It, you know, it's a great watch. Like if you
Yeah.
like the Grand Seiko aesthetic, um, can't
But
beat
Dib,
it.
you think Grand Seiko is a dead brand though?
Yeah, but I think how many Grand Seikos I've had? Like I have three right now. It's a dead brand to people, and I'll always maintain it's a dead brand because it's a sinking ship. You're gonna lose money, but
Yeah.
that goes with any brand except maybe like two or three. It's still my favorite brand. I get excited when I see the watches. Again, I always say buy at the right price. Don't buy at full price. If you don't have to, and you're set. You're set. It all depends on how much money you're willing to lose on a watch.
Amin just comments, I just realized that Dib has the absolute power to schedule a watch at any time.
No. There's obviously probably an absolute power, but I won't go into that. But
House
it's
of Cards. Reviews Dib has omnipotent scheduling power. Hmm.
I'm just saying, like what this is what I'd probably do if I were going to Japan. Like find a very Japan specific reference
Yeah.
so that it's more meaningful. Again, I don't know if it's sold out or not, but if the budget fits you, I think you should go for it.
Well, there's that suggestion. Hey, I just come back with like a cool ass Citizen Seiko, man. You got to
That
do it. You
yeah.
got to treat yourself.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try and do Seiko Museum. I'm going to try and persuade my wife to let me go. But we're going with another couple, and the other guy's like, he's not massive into watches, but he's into them enough that he'd said he'd go to the museum. So
Nice.
Maybe you can get the new speed timer. That- Again,
yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Well, guys, Sam, Dib, thanks again for joining me this evening. Really appreciate it. You guys did a great job. Chat, you did awesome. Thank you again. And just remember, on Sunday, we have Watch Soup. That's right, Watch Soup with Sanjay from the Engineer Wannabe channel and Clayton from the Watchdog podcast and myself reviewing through 2 or 3 videos from the content creators, the watch creators of this week, and we see what's going on and discussing it with you, the chat. Anyway, have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you guys on Sunday. Remember to catch Sam's live stream on Sunday. I have a link to his channel in the description below, and have a good night. Take care, guys.
see you all. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.